what? What? I know. I know. Hi, Sap.
Ready?
Everybody ready? Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, let's start this regular meeting of the Council of the City of Ottawa, May 6, 2025. Roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Here.
Gainier.
Here.
Pearson.
Here.
Barron.
Here.
Mayor.
Here.
We have 5 present.
Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Wasn't sure how close that was to you. Moved by Commissioner Eichelkraut that the minutes of a regular meeting of the Council of the City of Ottawa, Illinois, held on Tuesday, April 15th, 2025, and the minutes of a special meeting held on Tuesday, April 29th, 2025, both be approved as recorded in the permanent files of the city clerk.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Gainier, roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye. We're going to hold off on the anyone wishing to appear before the council in order to go through these proclamations so that those who service can get back out on the road protecting us. First proclamation, National Police Week, May 11th to the 17th, 2025. Whereas there are more than 900,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the 40 dedicated members of the Ottawa Police Department, and whereas since the first recorded death in 1786, more than 24,000 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and have been killed in the line of duty, the names of these dedicated public servants are engraved on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C. And whereas 244 new names of fallen heroes are being added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial this spring, including 147 officers killed in 2024, and whereas fallen Ottawa police officer Brian Lee Sember was among the fallen heroes in 2022 and added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in 2023, and Memorial Day in honor of all fallen officers and their families, and whereas the law was amended by the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act of 1994, Public Law 103-322, signed by President Bill Clinton, directing that the flag of the United States be displayed at half-staff on all government buildings on May 15th each year. And now, therefore, I, Robert Hasty, Mayor of the City of Ottawa, Illinois, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim that May 11th through the 17th, 2025, is National Police Week. The City of Ottawa, and I encourage all citizens to publicly salute the service of law enforcement officers in our community and in the communities across the nation. Proclaim this 6th day of 2025.
All right. Moved by Mayor Hasty that a proclamation proclaiming May 11th through May 17th, 2025 as National Police Week in the City of Ottawa be adopted.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Gainier, roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye. And then I believe Commissioner Gainier has a presentation in regards to the Police Department Service Awards.
Yes, we'll read off the names of the officers and their years of service. If they are present tonight, they can come up and get their little award. Sergeant Robert Nillis, 25 years. Detective Randy Nelson, 20 years. Corporal Andrew McLaughlin, 20 years. Officer Daniel Severo, 20 years. Sergeant James Bell, 20 years. Sergeant Scott Harden, 19 years. Corporal Wesley Pender, 17 years. Sergeant Matthew DeVries, 17 years. School Resource Officer Stephen Hopkins, 15 years. Corporal Adam Yups, 13 years. Detective Sergeant Matthew Nadanovich, 12 years. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Adam. Uh, Detective Corporal Joseph Hilton, 10 years. Corporal Jonathan Berniger, 9 years. K-9 Officer Brandon Anderson, 6 years. Officer Brett Wiedemann, 6 years. Officer Cole Clicker, 6 years. Detective Mason Sardi, 5 years. Officer Eric Gainier, 5 years. You put him 5 years already? Officer Christopher Cullinan, 5 years. Officer Kathleen Piscini, 4 years. Officer Tyler Brewer, 4 years. SRO Carrie Luna, 4 years. Detective Andrea Harden, 4 years. K-9 Officer Charlie Hooper, 3 years. Detective Ozzy Landuris Leon, 3 years. Sorry about that. Officer Joshua Jakubowski, Jabinski, 3 years. Officer Joel Smith, 3 years. Officer Chandler Kiesling, 2 years. School Resource Officer Marisol Hidalgo, 2 years. Officer Andrew Martin, 2 years. Officer Jacob Callahan, 2 years. And then our most recent new hires, Officer Steve Ramirez, Officer Megan Orsini, Officer Officer Carter Piercy, Officer Daniel Rodriguez, and Officer Sophian Rehai. Thank you all for your service. We really appreciate it.
Then I believe we have letters of accommodation regarding Tom Walsh.
Yes. Excuse me. On Monday, March 31st, 2025, at approximately 10:08 a.m., Patrol Corporal Adam Yups was on a routine patrol when he was flagged down by a subject near the intersection of LaSalle Street and West Superior Street. The subject advised Corporal Yups that he had just witnessed a pedestrian walking on the sidewalk near Columbus Street collapse. Corporal Yups assessed the area and located the victim lying on the sidewalk, unresponsive, with no pulse and apparent head injury from the fall. Corporal Yups radioed the Ottawa Central Dispatch of the situation and asked for the assistance of the Ottawa Fire Department paramedics while he began chest compressions. Patrol Officer Daniel Severo, who was on routine patrol, overheard, you're on parole too, overheard the radio transmission and responded to help with his department-issued AED. Corporal Yups and Officer Severo utilized the AED to assess the subject's condition, and when it was apparent the subject had suffered a sudden cardiac arrest, the AED advised the delivery of a shock was necessary and administered. OFD paramedics arrived, and the subject was transferred to them for further care, at which time a pulse was located. OFD paramedics transported the subject to the emergency room for additional care, and I'm happy to report that Thomas Walsh has now been released from the hospital and is actually present with us tonight. Thomas and his family wish to express their sincere debt of gratitude to the officers and the paramedics involved in his immediate care on March 31st. On behalf of the City of Ottawa and each department involved, I wish to recognize and present the following with letters of commendation for their actions. Corporal Adam Yups. Officer Daniel Severo. Captain Adam Wampler, firefighter Nick Allegretti, firefighter Alex Dunn, firefighter Joe Alina, firefighter James McGuire, firefighter Reed Smith. Once again, we'd just like to thank everybody for their quick response to this issue. I think if you ask any one of these police officers or firefighters, they would tell you that they were just doing their job, but it's a job that everybody respects, and we're always happy when we have good outcomes like we had with this incident.
I just want to thank our police department. You guys do great work, and so I hope you have a good week coming up. And to our police and fire, thanks for everything that you guys do. And stories like this is what I think gives a lot of people hope in the services that you provide. So thank you. And now we will move forward with our meeting. Is there anyone wishing to appear before the council? Ducking underneath. I just caught that.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
one comment. The police officer memorial, I've been to it. It's right outside the Department of Labor building. And I went and walked through it, and I found Officer Center's name on the wall. It's on the west side of the memorial. So if you're ever there, you can go and find anybody you might know.
I know there's been a couple officers who have went and taken pictures of it, who've went and seen it, and we usually share it on social media. If you're ever in DC, it'd be a good thing to see for one of our fallen officers.
In fact, tonight I think is the night that they put the new names on the wall. Tonight.
Okay. Anyone wishing to appear before council? If you would like to come up to the podium and state your name.
I'm Bob Roberts. I live at 1600 West Madison Street. And real quick, from Clay Street on west, for Jefferson Street, for Main Street, the intersections are ADA compliant. From Chestnut Street, Jefferson, pretty much all the intersections are ADA compliant. Madison Street is pretty much ADA compliant until the very last block where I live. Last year I called, and the person who was in charge of the curbs or repairs, and oh, you're not on the list that year. Apparently I haven't been on the list for a while, because it's been like that for a long time. So this year, you know, it's on the way to Thornton Park. I've already picked up 2 people have fallen in the yard. But we just got to get those that section or that intersection, ADA compliant. I don't know what the holdup is for the last couple of years, but it's. Last year I picked up 2 people, and now it's again 2 more people. and, it's not right.
I apologize for that. Usually I keep track of phone calls that come in that I'm aware of for certain
I haven't
situations
called
like
yet
that.
this year, but last year.
So I do have that written down, and I promise you that we will look at that and get it taken care of.
All right. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My name is Melissa Sampson. My husband is Dwayne, and my daughter is also here. We are 1 mile outside of Ottawa on Canal Road. We are here tonight because we are risking losing what we thought was our country residence, is how we referred to it. We are, I think, one of the last residents that were annexed in 8 years ago. So our address is 2046 North 2753rd Road, and we own 2048 North 2753rd Road. Total is 2.3 acres, and we have attended the last 2 meetings due to Sunvest Solar's solar farm. In 2017, we were still considered Lacell County. Our property taxes were $2,100. In 2018, we received paperwork. We did not know we were being annexed. Our taxes became $2,600. In 2024, we paid $3,400 on just one property. 8 years as a resident of the city of Ottawa. We do not have city water. We do not have city sewer. We do not have sidewalks. We do not have any of the amenities that people have in town. Country living is the reason that we stay there. We only have 2 cornfields before us, and then we have Heritage Harbor. And 22 acres of trees are getting ready to leave between Heritage Harbor and my home, which is my family of deer, my pheasants, everything that you can think of for birds that I feed. The bald eagle that's right behind ADM Road at the other ADM entrance, which is 0.5 miles away. And within about 30 years, I'm gonna guess that there could be a lot of safety risks for my family. We have 2 wells at risk. We have been told that there's going to be metal in the ground within 150 foot from our home, including our well, which is 70 foot away. We have been told there will be more than just metal. It could be lead, and that is scary to us. We have contacted Mr. French from Sunvest Solar. We have asked for current data, something that says that this 13-year-old and my grandchildren can stay in the yard. If he's putting this, he calls it a microwave. He refers to it as a microwave. And I know a lot of the people here know that a pregnant person cannot have an x-ray due to radiation. There is some type of radiation that's going to emit from this solar farm. So what I did is, since the data that Mr. French gave me was from 2017, I found on my own 5 sources. None of them are under 500 foot from a residence, which is also one of Lacell County's deals right now. Lacell County Board was in Springfield. They are requesting 500 foot for the solar farms from homes, which I know the cities is smaller than that, but one of my homes is in Lacell County. So I'm hoping that we can get everybody to a resolution. I'm not trying to stop a solar farm. I'm just trying to stop the safety risks that could be here. Our main concern at 150 foot is if there is a contamination to our well that our children and we will not know. So if Mr. French does allow that today and it does go through, we are asking for yearly testing on our water on 2 different wells. Just because it could be contaminated, we're not gonna know. I have contacted the EPA. There is no statistics on what could happen with our water with all this metal that close to our home. And right now, all we can do is leave it up to the council. We've done what we could, but as tax-paying residents, we would like to have a small say. And we appreciate your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak?
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Butch Ryan. I'm here on behalf of IBEW Local 176 in Joliet, Illinois. We have many electricians that live throughout the community. I'm here for the solar farm. What I would like to do is ask you to take into consideration, or maybe even ask for the developer to provide a letter of intent that they intend to use local labor to build this solar farm if they do so, in fact, do so. Many of these projects are being built across the state with out-of-state labor, and the monies that were allocated for that are from the tax base from the Illinois residents, and if they're going to send that money out of state, I ask you to take that into consideration when you make this decision. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak? Okay, then we'll move on to Commissioner Eichelkraut's report.
Moved by Commissioner Eichelkraut that the biweekly salary payroll of April 25th, 2025, in the amount of $642,282.79 be approved and warrants issued.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Pearson, roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Commissioner Eichelkraut that the monthly expense report dated May 6, 2025, showing expenses in the amount of $648,445.05 be approved and warrants issued.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Barron, roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Commissioner Eichelkraut that a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of employment agreements for appointed NCAP personnel be received and placed on file for public inspection.
Can I get a second? Commissioner Gainier, roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye. Commissioner Eichelkraut, is there anything that you'd like to add?
Yeah, just happy Mother's Day to all the mothers this coming weekend.
Thank you. On to Commissioner Gainier's report.
Moved by Commissioner Gainier that a resolution authorizing the execution of intergovernmental agreement for communication services between the City of Ottawa and the Village of Leland for dispatching be received and placed on file for public inspection.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Pearson,
This is just our renewal of the dispatch agreement with Leland.
roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Commissioner Gainier that a resolution authorizing the execution of an agreement between the City of Ottawa and Flex Financial, a division of Stryker Sales LLC, for EMS equipment for the Ottawa Fire Department be received and placed on file for public inspection.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Barron, roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Commissioner Gainier that the quote received from Technomount System USA in the amount of $28,445 for equipment for the fire department be accepted, approved, and paid for from the general corporate fund.
Can I get a second?
Second.
This and the previous motion all deal with mostly new monitors and also cots for the cots for the ambulances. This is a lease deal, and the agreement provides that they maintain them every year, and then at the end of 8 years, then we would either have the option to purchase them, or we would get probably new because they'll be outdated. Most all of our monitors that we have today are nearing their end of life, and you can't even get parts for some of them anymore, so it's necessary to get these upgrades.
Roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Commissioner Gainier that a resolution authorizing the execution of 2 amendments to the professional services agreements between the City of Ottawa and FMG Architects Incorporated for the new fire stations be received and placed on file for public inspection.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Eichelkraut.
This is just amending our current contract with the architects since we started the design process, and we decided that the north station and the new south station would be exactly the same. It has resulted in a reduction in the price that the architects would charge us.
That's welcoming news. Roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
We have the report of the police chief for the month of April. Squad car calls, 1,771. Arrest, 377. Sent to state institutions, 1. Sent to county jail, 7. Sent to juvenile probation, 0. Central Dispatch handled 878 911 calls. They also handled 3,928 administrative calls. Moved by Commissioner Gainier that the report of Police Chief Michael J. Cheatham for the month of April 2025 be received and placed on file.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Pearson, roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
We have the report of the fire chief for the month of April. Number of bell alarms, 5. Number of still alarms, 26. Activated alarms, 41. Number of medic calls, 324. Mutual aid, 6. Number of patients, 261. Total calls for April, 396. Total vehicle responses, 666. Total emergency overtime, 18. Structure loss was at $91,000. Contents loss, $23,100. Vehicle loss, $2,000, for a total loss of $116,100. Total our residents billed for medical services was 27. Moved by Commissioner Gaynor that the report of Fire Chief Brian R. Bresner for the month of April 2025 be received and placed on file.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Barron, roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye. Commissioner Gaynor, is there anything that you would like to add?
I would just echo Commissioner Eichelkraut's sentiments about Happy Mother's Day to all our mothers.
On to Commissioner Pearson's report.
Moved by Commissioner Pearson that the low bid from Reese Construction Company in the amount of $400,030 for the 2025 curb replacement project be approved and accepted and paid for from the general corporate fund.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Gaynor, roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Commissioner Pearson that a resolution authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Ottawa and the Illinois Department of Transportation for the routine maintenance of state routes be received and placed on file for public inspection.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Eichelkraut?
This is just an agreement that we do. We have to renew about every 10 years, and so it is time to do that.
Roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Commissioner Pearson that a resolution authorizing the execution of an engineering services agreement between the City of Ottawa and Redmuck and Associates Incorporated for the motor fuel tax projects be received and placed on file for public inspection.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Barron? Roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Commissioner Pearson that a resolution appropriating $350,000 in motor fuel tax funds be adopted.
Can I get a second? Commissioner Gaynor? Roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye. Commissioner Pearson, would you also like to wish the mothers happy Mother's Day?
Absolutely.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Nothing else.
Okay. On to Commissioner Barron's report.
Moved by Commissioner Barron that the low bid received from John Pohar and Sons Incorporated in the amount of $2,001,788 for the long-term control plan element 8.2 for the Canal Street storm sewer be approved and paid for from the CSO fund.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Pearson?
This is our ongoing sewer separation project. It's another street on the west side. The bid came in under, and we're looking forward to get this part done this year.
Thank you. Roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Commissioner Barron that a resolution authorizing the execution of maintenance agreements between the City of Ottawa and Altorfa Power Systems for the Water Department's generators, which have been on file for public inspection since April 15th, 2025, be adopted.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Gaynor?
It's a maintenance agreement.
Roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Commissioner Barron that a resolution authorizing the execution of an engineering construction services agreement between the City of Ottawa and Eshli Duttlinger and Associates Incorporated for the 2025 water main replacements, which has been on file for public inspection since April 15th, 2025, be adopted.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Pearson?
This is the ongoing replacement of water mains, and I think it's on Lafayette Street, and then we're doing a little one up on Fields Hill.
Roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye. Commissioner Barron?
Oh, I got it. I can't be left out of the party. Happy Mother's Day, everyone.
On to my report.
We have the report of the registrar for the month of April. There were 46 birth certificates issued and 41 death certificates. Certified copies were issued with fees totaling $2,058. Moved by Mayor Hasty that the report of registrar Shelley L. Rolson for the month of April 2025 be received and placed on file.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Pearson? Roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Mayor Hasty that the report of the Parking Administration Department showing fines collected of $2,900 for the month of April 2025 be received and placed on file.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Gainier? Roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
We have the report of the building official for the month of April. There were 13 building permits issued with fees totaling $4,529. Total number of on-site building inspections, 81. There was one demolition permit for $250, 2 sign permits for $14, 1 feather banner permit for $25, 2 pool permits for $25, 15 fence permits for $750, 5 new business registrations for $500, 29 general contractor licenses issued for $2,900, 1 home occupancy permit for $50, 23 electrical licenses renewed for $3,450, 4 new electrical licenses issued for $600, 8 electrical permits for $1,050. Total number of on-site electrical inspections, 38. We had 15 people take our electrical exam for $2,635. Total number of on-site plumbing inspections, 15. Our code enforcement officer did 104 inspections, and our construction coordinator did a total of 159 inspections, for a total of permits and licenses of 119, with fees collected of $16,778. Moved by Mayor Hasty that the reporting building official, Matthew W. Stafford, for the month of April 2025 be received and placed on file.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Barron, roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Mayor Hasty that the report of the sidewalk program showing 4 participants in the amount of $4,103.25 for the month of April 2025 be approved and paid for from the general corporate fund.
Can I get a second? Commissioner Pearson? Call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Mayor Hasty that a resolution reappointing George Carey, Robert Eschbach, Earl Lecky, and Rich Meneke to the Historic Preservation Commission, terms all to expire January 2028, be adopted.
Can I get a second?
Second.
I tried telling them that they had no option, but Tammy asked them anyway, and they all said yes. Roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Mayor Hasty that a resolution reappointing Keith Conrad and Dave Kissenfager, terms to expire January 2026, and John Stone, term to expire January 2028, all to the Ottawa Port District Board, be adopted.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Eichelkraut. This is split between appointments from the mayor and the governor. And recently, Dave Noble and I were able to get a contact in the governor's office to get his attention in order for him to reappoint his side of it. So we might actually have an updated Ottawa Port Authority committee here in the next few months. Roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Mayor Hasty that a resolution authorizing administration authority for the Community Development Block Grant Housing Rehabilitation Program to NCICG be adopted.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Pearson, roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Mayor Hasty that a resolution authorizing administration authority for the Community Development Block Grant Storm Sewer Separation Improvement Program to NCICG be adopted.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Barron. Had to give that one to you.
Yeah.
Roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Mayor Hasty that a resolution authorizing administration authority for the Community Development Block Grant Shelter Grant to NCICG be adopted.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Gainier, roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Excuse me, Barron. I
Aye.
skipped him. Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Mayor Hasty that an ordinance amending Chapter 106, Section 40, and adding Division 6 and Article 2 of Chapter 102 of the Municipal Code of the City of Ottawa, LaSalle County, Illinois, regarding golf cart operations on the roadways in Heritage Harbor be passed and approved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Gainier. This is an ordinance that has been discussed for a few years now. The golf carts have been out there. They haven't seemed to have been a problem for the residents or for us. However, in talking with the owners and operators of Heritage Harbor, we thought it would be prudent to have an ordinance in place to allow them to operate legally, so that therefore any kind of enforcement can happen if need be. This is the starting point of it. We'll see if we need to add more to it later, but we thought that this was a good start. Roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Mayor Hasty that an ordinance establishing a one-time bonus for Elena Iverson be received and placed on file for public inspection.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Eichelkraut. Elena has been tasked with stepping up and performing 2 jobs since the last week of January. We believe we have her replacement started, and they started training today. And so hopefully with about 2 months of training, we'll have a new HR position, and Elena will be able to resume her role as mayor's assistant.
Deputy City
Deputy.
Clerk.
And Deputy City Clerk, thank you. And a bunch of other hats that she wears. Special Events Coordinator and everything else that she's doing. Roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Mayor Hasty that an ordinance amending Chapter 14, Article 5 of the Municipal Code of the City of Ottawa, LaSalle County, Illinois, by removing the automatic musical instruments be passed and approved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
I want to give this to Commissioner Eichelkraut because he's been a thorn in my side. As we've been updating the liquor ordinance and the gaming ordinance, it's made us aware of some of the other ordinance, like most municipalities have, that are still on the books but are kind of don't make any sense anymore. Commissioner Eichelkraut's gotten a little bit of flack from some of the other business owners in the community wanting us to enforce some of these ordinances that are ridiculous, like this one. Essentially, what this was is charging a license fee for someone to have a jukebox.
Well, not
In
only
their
a
establishment.
jukebox, though, but
Oh, yeah.
player, piano, et cetera.
Automatic piano players or any kind of musical thing that operates by itself. And that just doesn't seem like an ordinance we need to be enforcing, so we might as well get rid of it.
You're against history.
Yeah. So now we can go into those bars and restaurants, see the jukebox on the wall and think, at least they're legal.
Right, I don't have to look for no sticker on it.
Right. Roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Mayor Hasty that the request for a fundraiser from the Illinois Valley Building Trades Council for its annual Dollars Against Diabetes Dad's Day for Saturday, June 14th, 2025, from 8 o'clock a.m. until 12 o'clock p.m. at the intersection of Norris Drive and Columbus Street be approved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Pearson. Roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Mayor Hasty that the request for a fundraiser from the Ottawa Downtown Association to collect donations for fireworks for Saturday, June 21st, 2025, from 8 o'clock a.m. until 1 o'clock p.m. at the intersection of Norris Drive and Columbus Street be approved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Eichelkraut. Just to remind everyone once again, Ottawa Downtown Association took over the Ottawa First Committee in regards to doing the fundraising each year for our fireworks. So this is one of the many, many fundraisers that they're doing in order to keep money coming in for those fireworks. Roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Mayor Hasty that the report of the Plan Commission meeting held on Monday, April 28th, 2025, considering the conditional use permit request from PADS for a homeless shelter at 201 East Jackson Street, be received and placed on file. Be it further moved, the council concur with the recommendations of the Plan Commission, and the conditional use permit be granted with the following 5 conditions. 1, shelter operations be confined to the second floor with no occupancy permitted in the flood-prone lower levels. 2, the facility be operated in accordance with the management plan submitted by PADS. 3, no modifications be made without city review and approval. 4, emergency evacuation and flood response protocols be submitted and approved by the city's emergency management and fire departments. And 5, PADS designate a neighborhood liaison to report to answer questions or concerns from residents and businesses, and the follow-up ordinance be passed and approved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Barron. A lot there. One of the things to point out is this does not disrupt the grant that we're currently working through in order for the demolition of the old YMCA that is still scheduled to go. Dave Noble has been in contact with FEMA, and even despite some of the grants that have been seeing some trouble, we'll say, this one is still targeted to move forward as expected. I believe Chief Bresner has been in conversations with them or looking at the plans in regards to the flood mitigation and the safety procedures and everything else. Is there any other questions or comments about this?
How long is the temporary use supposed to last?
It,
For construction, correct?
yeah, as soon as construction is complete at, then obviously they'll move, it'll go to the new home.
Just wanted to put that out there for the record.
Right, roll call?
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved
Good
by
luck.
Mayor Hasty that the report of the Plan Commission meetings held on Monday, March 24th, 2025, and Monday, April 28th, 2025, considering the conditional use permit request from Sunvest Solar LLC to construct a large-scale solar energy system at Canal Road and ADM's entrance, be received and placed on file. Be it further moved, the council concur with the recommendations of the Plan Commission, and the conditional use permit be granted, and the follow-up ordinance be passed and approved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Barron. I know that this has been a heated conversation, not just for Canal Street, but for the entire region. LaSalle County's been looking into it. There's projects going up all around Ottawa. One of the things in regards to Melissa's comments that I would have is, I know that the updated, I'm going to call it a design, has 420 feet from her residence.
No.
No?
You had that backwards, Mayor. The first time we talked, it was wrong. I've always been the one closest. We were started at 90 foot from our,
Okay.
with our children.
Mayor?
But I can't find anything that says that's safe. I've been everywhere. I've asked Mr. French twice. You can't give me anything past 2005 to 2017. There's no data. None.
Mayor?
Yeah.
I would like to put a motion on the floor to table this, okay? My reasoning being, find out the total information, what I'm hearing right now, and also to see if it is possible with the ability of the council to kind of put something in there about local labor use, okay? I think we need to take a little more time to take a serious look at this. I'm not totally against a solar farm, but I would like to take the time to seriously take a serious look at this.
Yeah.
We all just want to be safe.
Right.
We're not
And-
trying to stop it.
And in no way, I read what you provided to us, and it's a cause for me to do much more research than I thought I would do.
I did personally myself. Our first meeting, guys, was 13 days.
Yeah.
We had people in our woods, 15 foot from our door in November, and never even knew it, taking pictures of our home. We would have got sued because somebody got bit on their property, but we didn't know they were there.
Okay.
And they're right. I mean, they're
You need a
using
second?
everybody
You
in
have a
Minnesota.
motion. You have a motion, you need a
Yeah,
second.
do I have a second for
Second.
Commissioner Barron? I will put it to roll call, but before doing so, I'm just going to add in there also that, as a reminder for everybody, that since it was recommended by the planning committee, it would take 4 votes to overturn the planning committee, just so that everyone understands that part of it. But with that, roll call.
Question on
Yep,
the,
oh.
on the motion. It's a motion to table, but does it need to be a motion to refer back to the plan commission? Because we at council cannot put conditions on it. Is that correct?
I need that from Christina.
Yes, that is correct. It's
Okay,
already,
I'll make the motion to refer it back.
Okay, that would need, the seconder would have to agree to
Yeah.
that change in the
Correct, correct.
motion.
well, and let me correct, we can put conditions on there, under our ordinance, under,
But we can't do it here without
Correct.
changing the ordinance, yes,
Correct.
okay.
We can or the planning
we can, as the council, we have the ability to do that, but
Change the ordinance,
no, to
No.
put conditions on
in the, but in the ordinance. I mean, we can't put an additional condition on the report from the plan commission tonight, right?
No, I think we can.
Oh,
I think we can add conditions within a framework regarding, we could not, I don't believe we could put a condition on there regarding labor at
Oh,
this,
okay.
at
So-
this time,
it would have to be referred back to the plan commission for that
for that
condition.
particular condition, correct. And we should also, I'm sorry, Mayor, just for clarification for the public's benefit, if we table it, we still have a requirement to make a decision within 60 days of the decision of the Plan Commission.
Yep.
If we don't refer it back, so.
So is your motion
I
to
amend
table
my
or
motion to table it, okay, send it back to the planning commission, see if there's anything they can do about the local labor, and also check on the footage that we're looking at from the distance. Okay, I've read through this tonight, and there's also stuff in here where I've heard different things from 485 feet away, 420 feet away, 90 feet away. I need the actual total information, not hearsay information.
Brenda, are you gonna
Is
second
there,
his
is there a
amended
second
motion?
to put it back to the planning?
You're gonna kick it back to the plan commission. I'll second it and kick it back to the plan commission then. Do we
Roll-
have it, did we get, not to debate this any longer, did we get a site plan
Yeah,
for this?
yeah, it was attached a couple times to a few emails that Doug sent out with the, his report. It's more official
'Cause
name
I
for his
didn't see-
report, but I'm gonna call it a
Staff
report.
report.
I
His
didn't
staff
see
report,
that.
thank you.
Site
Yeah,
plan.
right.
All right.
And is the motion clear just for the Plan Commission as to what the council's expectations for them to
Right.
review are?
The setback, and can we put on their use of local labor?
I have one more comment, sorry. That, the one thing that concerns me, that concerns Melissa, is that we don't have a lot of data on what's going to happen. And I think that while it's being tabled, we do need to look at what's going to happen with our well, and if there is some sort of contamination, and the testing, and then who would be responsible for that.
And that actually reminds me, I know we're supposed to roll call, but
Yeah.
since we're doing this anyway, that I have done, in the research that I've done, in the answer as to what happens at the end of life of these, a lot of companies, it's put in that they recycle the material, that it goes back. And so I would hope that another recommendation to back to the planning committee is that we would get some kind of, something that says end of life, like what is their end of life procedure?
I can
so that
just
we
see this
know.
thing coming down in 20 years with trees growing through it and weeds growing through it, and it looks like a dump. So, I mean, that's something that is
Yeah.
be.
So I think if we knew what the procedure was by the company as to what their action is for end of life use, like what they do at the end of it, I think that's in that same vein as what you're asking, Commissioner Pearson, in regards to the effects that some of this can have on it.
I'm Bill French.
If you want to come up here.
I'm Bill French, and I'm the Regional Director of Project Development for Sunvest Solar. I'm the person who's been working on this project. I mean, many of these things have been submitted to you. There's a decommissioning plan that was submitted. All the end of life, what you do at the end of the project is in there. It talks about recycling or repurposing, as much of it as possible, so that's in there. There's been a lot of discussion about groundwater or contamination. It's just galvanized steel. That's the only thing that's going in the ground. There's no concrete, so we just direct bury it all. I think many of these questions have been answered, but I'm certainly at your request to go back to Plan Commission. Obviously, we would honor that, but I believe many of these questions have been answered, and we can take it there. We are adhering to and following your ordinance. You do have an ordinance in place. This property is zoned for industrial. This is solar. It's going to be a very low impact development that could be on there. If you look at the list of things that could be developed on an industrial property, this one is a very low impact. Once it's up and operational, there's very little traffic generated. There's no lighting. There's no noise. It's a very good neighbor. So I just want you to consider all those things also as you consider your vote. Thank you.
And I would agree that it's a good neighbor, especially for the location of, for the fact that it's quiet and all of those kinds of things. So I would agree with that.
Sorry, can you clarify, the V is only 150 foot from our home?
That is incorrect. I provided information to Doug. The nearest, so your ordinance says you need to be 150 feet from the nearest occupied residence to the panels, or 217 feet to the nearest. And that information has been provided to the city through.
But
your planning consultant.
from our house, our door, our front door. So our swimming pool and our well are another 50 foot. So we're not even 250 foot from two
That,
wells.
yes. Your ordinance states also that the fence would be 50 feet, and that fence now is, 150 feet away. So in between there, we're gonna preserve all the trees, and leave a natural buffer there as well.
22 acres of trees are leaving.
It's a 67-acre property. We're gonna develop about 18 acres of it. The balance, we're gonna leave as is and not develop it. In fact, we're in discussions and trying to find a non-for-profit that might be interested in managing it for us and making it for trails, very low impact, recreational use. So we have had those discussions.
Okay.
And a motion on the floor.
I call the question.
And a second.
What's that?
I call the question. We need to vote.
Okay. Roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye. So, clarification, going back to the
Plan Commission.
Plan Commission with our notes and our recommendations.
May I address you just one more time? And there'll be clarification on exactly what it is you'd like me to respond to? Is that?
Yes, there will
or-
be.
Or like come
Yeah.
from the Plan Commission?
Well, we'll give our notes to the Plan Commission, and Doug will be in contact with you with those notes are.
Okay, thank you. I just need to know how to react. so.
Yeah, no problem. And, yeah, so when earlier in this meeting, when I said that we had proclamations plural, this is the other one. I thought we were doing them both at the beginning. So, this proclamation, whereas safety is the highest priority for the highways and streets of our city and state, and whereas the great state of Illinois is proud to be a natural leader in motorcycle safety, education, and awareness, and whereas motorcycles are a common and economical means of transportation that reduces fuel consumption and road wear and contributes in a significant way to the relief of traffic and parking congestion, and whereas it is especially meaningful that the citizens of the city and state be aware of motorcycles on the roadways and recognize the importance of motorcycle safety, and whereas the members of Abate of Illinois, Inc., a brotherhood aimed towards education, continually promotes motorcycle safety, education, and awareness in high school driver's education programs, and to the public in our city and state presenting motorcycle awareness programs to over 120,000 participants in Illinois over the past 5 years. And whereas all motorcyclists should join Abate of Illinois, Inc. in actively promoting the safe operation of motorcycles, well as promoting motorcycle safety, education, awareness, and respect of the citizens of our city and state. And whereas the motorcyclists of Illinois have contributed extensive volunteerism and money to national and community charitable organizations. And whereas during the month of May, all roadway users should unite in the safe sharing of roadways within the city of Ottawa and throughout the great state of Illinois. Therefore, I, Robert Hasty, Mayor of the City of Ottawa, in recognition of over 30 years of Abate of Illinois, Inc., and over 293,676 registered motorcyclists statewide, do hereby proclaim the month of May this year, 2025, as Motorcycle Awareness Month in the City of Ottawa, and urge all motorcyclists to join in an effort to improve safety and awareness on our roadways. Proclaim this 6th day of May, 2025.
Moved by Mayor Hasty that a proclamation declaring the month of May as Motorcycle Awareness Month in the city of Ottawa be adopted.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Mr. Eichelkraut? That was a long one. Roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye. And I will wish everyone happy Mother's Day, but I'm going to add to mine that this is also the marathon weekend. So on Saturday morning, look out for runners, drive safe, and if you have a second, cheer on those runners. It means a lot to them.
Moved by Mayor Hasty that this regular meeting be adjourned.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Mayor Pearson, roll call.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Gainier.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye. Thank you, everybody.
We signed that one.
Yes.